Got some new shirts. Very cool. Really excited about that. But anyway, here we go. It's time to do this engine. And there it is. So, here's the big block. It's out. That's my kind of built engine stand, supported with the overhead winch. For the time being, that's what we're going to deal with. So let's get right to it. I'm going to pull this front runner system off first, okay? The fan, the power steering, the pulleys, alternator, water pump, yada, yada, yada. And where I'm going to start is right here on the alternator. It will pivot on this bolt. See that? That's a through and through bolt. It will pivot on that. That's a 9/16. This bracket is where it will kind of slide. You see this bolt here? That will slide through this groove. That's a 1/2 inch. I've already kind of broken it loose to show you what it'll do. See how it slides through there? Tight, right? The belts are tight. It's pivoting on that bolt. Let it loose, belts get loose, and you can get your belts off. I say that. There you go. Belts off. Now, if we want to remove the alternator, it's pull that bolt the rest of the way out, and then the bolt that it's pivoting on. And then our alternator will come right out. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, we've got our 1/2 inch. Got it out. Set that up here. And we've got our long-winded bolt that it pivots on, remember? Through there. This is kind of wedged in. So, just gonna go ahead and jiggle that out. Okay, now my alternator is still hanging out, but it's basically just sitting there. It's not attached anymore. Okay? So, should be able to just jiggle this thing right out. And drop it on the floor. Okay. This one's junk anyway, so don't drop yours on the floor. But if it's junk, don't worry about it. Alright, we're going to set that right there. Alternator out. And then we have alternator brackets. They're going to be in the way. Fan is still in the way. We've got several things to pull off. So let's see what we want to pull off next. Maybe get these alternator brackets out of the way. Let's do that. Top bracket, lower bracket. Just one nut. Nope, sorry, excuse me. There's two. Can you get down here and see? Alright, there's a nut and there's a nut. That will remove this lower arm. And then the upper arm is, there's the nut. You can see it in there. That one will remove this and this one. Okay, so you got two nuts on each. This is my ground for the electric choke for the carburetor. I'm just going to leave it there for now. But anyway, one right here, one right there. That's the top piece bracket, and then the lower bracket arm. It's these two bolts here. Let's go ahead and get those off. Alright, let's get to pulling the fan and fan clutch. You see behind there, you got these nuts. I don't know if you can see that. There's 4 of them. This is a better view. I've already gotten one off. There's one, there's 4 around this thing. We're just going to bust those off. But when you do, this pulley is going to try to turn on you. So get something, you know, and just kind of wedge it in there so that you've got control of that pulley. See how I'm turning it back and forth? I've just got it kind of wedged in between those bolts that are sticking out. You're going to get it on there. Where'd my wrench go? You got my wrench? No? You don't have it. Let's see. Where did I put it? I must have put it somewhere. Okay, find that in a minute. Point is, when you go to bust these nuts off, use your little bar to stabilize this pulley. Because when you go to try to loosen up those nuts, this pulley's going to try to turn on you. So we got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all around this pulley. We're just going to back those off counterclockwise like any other nut, and we'll go from there. Okay, thought I'd give a shot of getting you back in here. Found my wrench. So this is a half inch nut. I'm going to get on it, and I'm going to pull the wrench towards me and lift my little cheater bar kind of away and hold some resistance. And there we go. Nut's turning. The fan can turn. That's fine, as long as the pulley doesn't turn. And then I'll just use those fan blades as a guide so that my wrench isn't just bouncing around everywhere. A little tedious because there's not a lot of room to work, but anyway, you get the idea. Nut, 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 nut. There's 4 of them all the way around it. I'm going to go ahead and finish backing those off. You know, strangely enough, on a couple of mine, the whole stud backed out. That nut should have come off, but the whole stud backed out. So, I don't know, I guess it just depends on which end of this bolt. See how it's got that space in the middle that's not threaded? So threads here, threads here. I guess whichever one is looser is the one that's going to come out. But, either way, got that off. So see, I lost 2 studs. 2 stayed in, 2 didn't. No big deal, either way. Alright, let's take our fan. We're going to put it over here by the alternator. And we now have our pulley. It's going to come off the belt. Get off of there. Alright, now we've got the pulley off. There's your water pump. That's what this is. That's your water pump right there. Okay? Alright, let me get this. We're going to remove another belt. There we go. Got that belt off. So, belts are off. Now we can kind of see what we're doing. Let me set this stuff aside and we will move on to, I believe what we got next is the pain in the butt, the power steering, because that pulley is kind of blocking in our water pump. We can't quite get to it. Well, maybe we can. I don't know. Yeah, we might be able to sneak that out of there. You know, you see, so this is the pulley, or excuse me, not pulley, the bracket to the power steering pump, and that bolt goes through our water pump also. So I wonder if we pull that bolt and then get these 2, you know, and the rest of them, could we just slide our water pump out from behind that bracket? I believe so. I don't know. We're going to find out together. Okay, so that did work. You get your bolt. That's already sagged a little bit because I busted them loose. So this bolt that's through and through the power steering bracket, pull that out. And then it is 1 bolt. I've already pulled it out. 2 bolt. 3 bolt, 4, and you're loose. Except you got this water neck. Not there. There. Bust that thing loose. And then when you get this bolt off, this whole thing should come right off. And I'm going to see, can I do it without dropping the dang thing? What do you think? Let's set these bolts down. Undo that. No, maybe. Get some tension off of it, huh? There we go. And there you have it. And I left that lower radiator hose on for whatever reason, but okay. There's our water pump. And that reveals the timing cover and our crank. We'll set this over here with the rest of our goodies. We're just getting a table full of parts, aren't we? Okay. So we're doing all the good. Power steering is next. I did this a while back, And I cannot remember if I'm gonna have to pull that stinking pulley off, because I don't have a pulley puller. Hopefully I could bust off the bracket nuts and get this thing off, but I'm gonna have to look. And once I kind of know what I'm talking about, we'll be right back. Okay, I was trying to make that way harder than it was. Pretty simple. Since we've already got this, the bolt out of this adjuster part of the bracket, it's just those two bolts there, which are 9/16, I believe. Nope, a little bigger. I can't remember. Something like that. Then right around the corner, there's this little tab, and that is a 9/16 there. That's it, those three bolts. Let me go ahead and, I've already broken them loose. So, got that one. And then it's these two, which now there's a little tension on it. Yeah, okay, little tension on them, but I'm gonna pull those two bolts out right there, and then this situation should come off. Stand by. Okay, from right here to off. And if you've got a little fluid in there, drain it out. It might dribble on you. There we go. Got a dribble. This water pump, power steering pump, you know, situation, there's always going to be more fluids than you thought you had. You had them drained out, and oops, nope, you didn't quite have them drained out. All right, power steering pump and pulley on the table. So that leaves us with the crank, pulley, and the rest of that bracket. That's also part of the AC bracket. So yeah, nice. Okay, moving on. All right, once we're this far, we're doing this upper bracket for power steering pump and AC. Just two bolts left. The one right there on the corner, and the one just under there. They're 9/16. Get a little tension off of them. We'll get that bolt out. You know, I just can't seem to get the tension off and undo the bolt with one stinking hand. That's how I keep dropping things. There we go. All right, that's all. Over to the table. Bracket and its bolt. The crank pulley, pretty simple. The three bolts around the edges. Here, here, here. Not that one. 1, 2, 3. That holds it into the harmonic balancer where your timing marks are. Those are also 9/16. I've already busted these loose as well. Oops, there goes a washer. And undo that one, and we've got a crank pulley now. All right, crank pulley over to the table. Leave the bolts with it. Okay, we've got our front runner system off. All that's left is that harmonic balancer, and we're going to get to the timing, because I think what I'm going to do, I'm not sure, I don't know what the budget's going to allow, but I would like to pull the timing chain, timing belt, whatever you call it, and put in timing gears. But we'll see if we get to that point. But for now, there we go. Front runner system is off. I think we'll call that part 1. All right, we've got a lot more to do. Part 2 coming up is going to be all of this, and we're going to get to the manifold and get the heads off and the distributor. So, you know, if you're following this along, if you're doing it, then come back. We'll be doing the rest of it in part 2. Tow Time Garage. We'll see you soon.